All right, everybody, had two losses today, and let's get into what happened, why, and what I could have done better. So here are the losses. Let's start with the first one, which was a nice change in the state of delivery on the 3-minute out of open. So looking at the day, right? Let me turn this on. We finally had some clean market structure. We had liquidity sitting below us here. We had liquidity here. We've been building up liquidity. We were delivering out of OTE of this bigger range here, and we were delivering out of these higher time frame fair value gaps. So when we zoom in, right, we have the external narrative that we're looking for. And when we zoom in, we've swept some liquidity here. We've swept London high. And then on the 3-minute, we put in this really clean fair value gap, come up, invert it nicely, get a change in the state, and enter the trade. Now, before we enter, there was a couple of things that I pointed out that would have made this trade challenging. One, we are also in 50% of this zone, right? So if price does want to come down, this is likely where it's going to happen. Two, we're delivering out of higher time frame fair value gaps in this zone. So right when we short, we're shorting straight into opposing liquidity. We typically avoid this. Three was, and I didn't point this out live, was that we had come up pretty aggressively and we're now chopping and accumulating. And that's usually not the context in which we enter. We like to see a very clean liquidity narrative. So we like the grandma analogy, right? If you're going to take your grandma on a hike, right, you want to take her on a nice, easy hike through a clean path that's been walked 100 times. Anyone get through it so that when we sweep our liquidity, we come down, a nice easy path down to our target. You don't want to take your grandmother on this hike, right? Because this is, you're free soloing a mountain to get up, and then to get down, it's the same challenge. It is a straight drop. She's going to break her ankle in the best situation and most likely fall to her death in the worst. So these aren't the kind of trades we typically like to take. However, we just had so much clean liquidity in the morning. We have not had a clean setup like this in a while, where we built liquidity, come into OTE, had previous day low, Asia low, London low, all sitting below us with a sweep of London liquidity and then a nice clean change in the state on this 3-minute. So for those reasons, I entered the trade, even though we had the other reasons going against us. Those other reasons going against us are the main things I point out every single day. I sort of chose to ignore them. I think I got a little overzealous with these lows and the cleanness of the overall narrative, and that happens sometimes. So I'll be journaling about that and reminding myself that nothing changes the rules. Just because you're excited about something does not make it a good trade. So sure enough, this entry gets wrecked right away. Also, I should point out, we did have red folder news this morning, which I don't usually trade before, but we had enough time. This happened 20 minutes before. I thought I had enough time for this play to hit London lows. I was expecting it to move quickly and efficiently. It did not, and I got knocked out there. So that was the first loss. Called it as an A-. In retrospect, it's more of a B+ because of these, because of the grandma staircase. But definitely still a valid entry. Did not go in my favor. I risked accordingly. Super small. I had 2 micros on this trade. So very low risk with the considerations we mentioned. Second trade. Let's jump to the 1-minute. So same bias, and this time even cleaner entry. Came up, sweep of internal liquidity, change in the state, strong displacement, right? Same target, but even better risk to reward this time. Targeting these London lows all the way down here with break-evens along the way, but really, really, really nice potential for a trade. And SM went against me again, right? This one is truly A+. The only thing that doesn't make this A+ is you're very close to these previous day highs, which is a draw on liquidity for sure. And you have this external liquidity up here, and it does look like we've been decently bullish. But my overall narrative, I still think we're coming down to these lows here. which we've just been chopping around on that 4 hour for a couple of weeks now. So it's been a little iffy. But this one knocked me out, and then I was done for the day. Right? I took 2 losses. I have not taken 2 losses in a day in a very long time, but that is my rule. It hasn't changed. 2 losses in a day, and I'm off the charts, because even the best trader starts to lose their sense of psychological edge after 2 losses. It gets easier to enter a buy. It gets easier to enter a sell. Your rules become a little less hard, and you end up just blowing accounts. So one very valid loss here. This was, I think, very valid, this internal sweep after London High. Clean displacement, strong liquidity built up for us to be able to run and target lower here. But the previous day highs were too strong of a draw, and this external liquidity was too strong of a draw, and it knocked me out. So losing is part of trading. It happens to everybody. It happens on every edge there is. You cannot trade without the expectation of loss. It's just about managing those losses, managing your risk, and acknowledging when you've reached your limit, stepping away from the charts, and coming back fresh the next day. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. All right, hope my losses taught you something. Have a good day, everyone.